Welcome back to Andersen Acres. We're inside with tequila again, and whiskey's just off to the side. Vodka's lying over there. So, I was asked a question about introducing new livestock to your livestock guardian dogs. And this is actually really important because what can sometimes happen if you're not careful? Hey, sweetie. What can sometimes happen if you're not careful is your livestock guardian dog doesn't quite understand that the new livestock is also for guarding, and they might separate out the new livestock or even attack it. So it actually is really important that you properly introduce your livestock guardian dog to the new livestock. The good news is this is really easy to do. Okay? You can't be tricky. You have to actually be careful. So what you don't want to do, let's say you have a flock of 100 sheep and you've bought one new sheep. They're all white, they're all the same breed, they all look the same. So you sneak a sheep in. Don't do that. Your livestock guardian dog will absolutely notice. That sheep will smell different, it will act different, it just will in general be different. So they'll absolutely know that that sheep doesn't belong. They could separate that sheep from the flock. They might even hurt that sheep, and you don't want that to happen. So avoid the tragedies that can happen by properly introducing your dog to the new animal. How do you do that? It's actually really easy. Don't hide the dog away when you bring home the new livestock. I know it's tempting to be like, I'm just going to put the dogs up because I don't want the new animal stressed. I'll introduce them tomorrow or the day after. I'm just going to slip them into the barn and hope the dog doesn't notice. Except the dog will notice. So don't do that. Let the dog see you unload the livestock, whether it's a new rabbit that you pull out of the back of your car, or whether it's a sheep or a horse or a cow that you are taking off a livestock trailer. Either way, have your dog right there. Obviously have control of the livestock because you don't want the livestock to overreact and perhaps try and kick or hurt the dog, but have the dog there. Or dogs, if you have more than one. Obviously, we do have more than one. So have the dogs right there as you unload that new animal. Let the dog see you unload it. Let the dog sniff and greet the animal while you interact with both the new animal and the dog. So in my case, I'm very affectionate with my dogs. So I would be loving up on Tequila and loving up on the new rabbit or the new goat, whatever I'm bringing in. For us, it tends to be a lot of poultry. I'm a poultry and rabbit breeder, so we tend to bring in new rabbits and new poultry a lot, and those are small animals, and because they're such small animals, there is a risk that they could get hurt if the dogs don't know that they're supposed to be there. So we're quite careful. I unload that rabbit and we're sniffing up the new bunny and I'm cuddling the new bunny and I'm loving on Tequila. And everyone knows I love everybody. Everybody belongs here. There's no question of whether or not that particular animal should be gone. Because it has happened to people where they bring in a couple of new animals and the dog ends up really hurting them or even killing them. And you don't want that to happen to you. So be really, really careful. Supervise the initial interactions. So when I put a new rabbit into the rabbit pen, I supervise Tequila and Vodka and make sure that they are fine with the new animal. I use the leave it command if I have to. And I watch the dogs really closely and make sure they're not separating that new animal from the group. So in our case, when I bring in rabbits, if I notice that Tequila is separating out the new rabbit, so pushing that new rabbit to the edge or wherever she happens to be pushing that rabbit to, I immediately call her back, tell her to leave it, have her sit, do some play training with her. So we kind of play around a little bit, have a good time while the rabbit's there to kind of distract her from the new rabbit. Then I let her go back and I let her see that rabbit again and see if she will calm down a little bit and understand that we're not separating out that rabbit, that rabbit is supposed to be here. And usually I only have to do that once because Tequila and Vodka are really quite good at this. Vodka doesn't care. You might have a dog that just doesn't care that much. So Vodka's really easy. You just bring in the new rabbit, go, hey, here's a bunny. He sniffs up the bunny, you put the bunny in the pen, you're done. Tequila usually takes one round of leave it because that's normal. Okay, vodka's really laid back. Most livestock guardians aren't as laid back as a vodka. Like, he's just asleep right now. He doesn't care. You're asleep too. But vodka cares about very little. Most dogs are more like tequila, where they'll take a little bit of guidance right at the beginning. So be on top of it at the beginning. If you're really on top of it, probably it'll only take one interaction and all of a sudden, okay, I get it. I'm protecting this rabbit or this goat or this cow as well as the other cows. So just make sure you're on top of the new animal introduction. Don't try to slip that new animal into the group because it's not going to work. It is not safe and it is not a good way to introduce animals. So just make sure that your dog sees the new animal get there. Make sure they interact with the new animal. Make sure they see you interact with the new animal so they understand that animal is supposed to be there. It's really not difficult. It just takes a little bit of intention and just a few minutes, usually when you first bring that animal home, just to make sure that everyone is getting along and no one is in any danger. But that's about it for us here today at Andersen Acres. Be careful when introducing new livestock. You don't want anything to go wrong. We'll see you tomorrow.